Well, Manchester United do really well pushing out. I'm really disappointed with Haaland here because the lads at the end of the game were talking about Kyle Walker, saying, why didn't he play this ball forward? But you actually see him there with his arm out, looking forward. He's out the game, completely out the game. He should be here. He should have pushed out with Manchester United. You've only got Bernardo Silva, who's actually trying to make a run in behind. But he then makes the pass to Nunes. I mean, we know what happens. He's made a mistake. Poor mistake here. Doesn't see Diallo. I mean, listen, we've all made passes like that at times. That is just absolutely criminal. I mean, ridiculous. We see it so often when somebody makes that mistake, they want to rectify it here. He just comes flying in and just takes him out and then gets Manchester United back into the game with the penalty. And that would have been a nightmare for City with the run that they're on to lose it. Or certainly Manchester United take a point so late on. But, as I said, they're finding ways to lose games and you feel like things can't get any worse.
So 1-1.
They lose a derby.
Into stoppage time, Thierry.
Yeah, and then you're watching the game and you can see that everything shifted. I don't know, you could sense. I didn't think they were going to score, I'll be honest, Man United, but because of the whole atmosphere and what they've been dealing with. So, okay, you're in a situation now where Man United has the ball, as you can see. Now, Allen has more urgency. You're going to see here, Silva's going to win the ball. Ball's going to go in the air. He's coming back in an onside position, like Jamie said. Ugarte plays the ball now. And now, look, when that ball arrives here, you have to shift as a team. And if you pose in and around here, this is exactly where Allen should be. He should be on the left shoulder of Maguire, not on his right shoulder, because he needs to have an impact on this defender side of the ball. And if you don't believe me, believe Foden. Look at what he's going to say. It's 1-1. It's money time. You got to come back with your team. You can't look at your team defend. Next thing you know, yes, he could have jumped. Yes, he could have jumped, but normally you're set the way we just showed before.
But we've just seen an instance where we looked at Kyle Walker with Erling Haaland again. But you look at Martinez on the ball now. He's actually got three options. I think you've got Diallo here at wing-back, Xerxes who's come on, and then Diallo on that far side. So we've just seen Manchester City not play a ball forward because there was no runners. Manchester United late in the game have three runners. I mean, this is just out of this world from this young lad, Thierry.
What he did, and we were talking about it, is first and foremost his run. I know you wanted to talk about the run.
It was actually, I mean, you know better than me.
He started the run early.
It was actually...
If he carries on, if he looks at the ball, he will never get it. At one point, you will see. He looks at the ball, but he will stop looking at it. He's going to look at where the ball is going to bounce. Look, he's not looking at it anymore. He's looking at where the ball is going to bounce. That's the only way he can get it. He can't get it here. He knows he will get it only after the bounce. So he doesn't look at it anymore. He looks at where is it going to bounce. Instead of looking at it, he would have lost it.
Did you ever get your foot in that position, Jamie?
I mean, Thierry, he's actually... he's in mid-air there.
Yeah,
his foot is actually in mid-air. To control that at the tip of the boot when he's actually in mid-air, what you've just said there about watching that, I mean, this is one of the best pieces of skill you'll probably see, certainly this season, to make the run, follow the ball, what you're talking about, the eye movement to the bounce, and then control the ball there round the goalkeeper.
The thought process
sensational.
of it is great.
But still, it's not a given from this point. No. And Jamie, you've been in this situation, charging towards your own goal.
Thierry, this just eye contact, just that stillness of just waiting for the ball to come down, the pressure moment, last minute of a derby game. Absolutely.
And Guardiola, Jamie?
I mean, letting the ball go, because he could have tackled that with the outside of his left foot. He lets the ball go to try to back it with his right foot. But Nunes also, if you go at the beginning of the clip of that angle, you see that Guardiola is behind him. If Nunes did break his neck, he saved that.
Brilliant goal, wonderful stuff.
A great goal on the attacking point of view.
Going off and just try and keep himself in an onside position and that. But
it's only just.
Only just, but I think he needs to come just a little bit more and then go. Because, listen, he's so quick, he'll get there anyway. In terms of the finish, I think he makes the right decision.
Yeah, you think he does?
Yeah, I think he does. Because I think Edison, he's leaning a little bit there. It's just the execution, to be honest, but I think he makes the right decision.
Yeah. Well, that was in the first half, and then, you know, at the start of the second half, I thought, right, the manager's got them, and he's seen how high Manchester City's defensive line is going to be. They're going to do the runners, they're going to make runs over the top, and then they're going to play them in all the time. And this was the very start of the second half. And just keep your eye on Højlund here. And, you know, we're also talking about the space over the top, Jermaine.
Yeah.
Once the ball comes into Kobbie Mainoo in this position, I think that's got to be touch. I mean, you look at Højlund there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to show the space he could run into.
Yeah, but for me, I just think that's what you want. As a centre forward, that's what you want. All it is one pass, and it's not even a difficult pass, really. I think you just don't even have to look beyond it. All you got to do is just sort of like just direct it into the area, and then then you go and get your chances. But decide to sort of like play short and try and combine instead of playing long.
Yeah, and this was, I think this summed it up. They've won a free kick. I'm going to just slow this down, and I want you, before we know, look, he's already off.
That's the one.
Before I've had chance. This guy, Amad Diallo, made run after run after run.
Yeah.
Positive, in behind. Also, to keep an eye on, Mazraoui's making a run there as well. This should be a positive pass, a simple pass. One of these two.
I always think as well, also, especially with free kicks, and you talk about like quick restarts, and I think players have to understand and sort of like recognise when, when teams give away free kicks and that, you can see the body shape. I think that's De Bruyne, I think that's Foden, the body shape and that. So that quick restart when you can just go direct, and that's how you catch people off guard.
What does it feel like? Because at this stage of the game, I was at the stadium doing commentary yesterday. I was starting to get frustrated at the amount of runs that the strikers are making.
And not getting
You're on the pitch and you're making run after run like that.
Yeah.
How easy is it for a striker to then turn around and go, well, I'm not making that runs
But
anymore?
we see it all the time. You see strikers, they throw their arms up and that. But of course, it's important to keep doing it, because eventually you will get in, and which they would do with Ahmed's goal and that. But I mean, it's frustrating. You can see there, it's one ball and he's in.
So, I mean, even if you don't want to go to Diallo, that ball out there is still a positive.
Yeah.
What they actually do was, again...
Just play short and give it away.
Yeah. A sideways pass, a negative pass. Now you're out of position. I feel like the principles are in place at Manchester United. I think it's about timing, understanding, getting used to certain situations. Again, I'll let you do this at 50, the speed now. I mean, Kobbie Mainoo's got turned there.
Yeah.
Rasmus Højlund, what do you think he should...
For me, I think this is a really good one. Højlund there, he comes short. Well, he's looking to come short.
Yeah.
So if that happens, I think that's Bruno Fernandes there, he has to run the opposite direction. So you get one that comes short, and the other player has to go to the opposite direction. So you need that opposite movement. Obviously, they both come short and end up losing it and that. But I just felt like, because obviously you look at the back line, or you talk about teams that want to be brave, understand that and that. But we spoke about the spacing behind. I just felt like that opposite movement, that you'd have so much joy in behind.
Knowing that, I mean, I'm going to put you in this position now, knowing that is the defensive line, I think you personally would have been stood in that position and saying, as a striker, just play me in. It's not even up to Bruno Fernandes to make the run. As a striker, I want to be played in.
But even as the number 9, you can sort of like you can see the whole picture. And I'll be speaking to Bruno Fernandes there. I'll be speaking to him. And sometimes it's eye contact. And I know if I'm coming short, like I mentioned before, he has to run in behind.
What do you think about... See, I was a midfielder where Kobbie Mainoo was playing, and if we'd gone in at half-time and City were playing a high line constantly, as soon as I got turned in that position, I'd be thinking, right, what have I got?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what was on all afternoon long.
Yeah.
This one, Diallo made run after run after run. And I just felt that... I don't know if it's modern football, but people are trying to be so intricate and play all of these short passes rather than
mixing it up.
The most effective pass.
Yeah. I mean, this is why you speak about players that are, that love to run in behind. Like you speak about, Jamie Vardy, for instance. And we've seen it with Haaland a lot. with making those runs in behind, but it's so effective. Because all you need, if you just keep doing it. All you need is one chance.
Yeah, definitely. And if they did, I did think they learnt though. I did think they started to have an understanding of what was necessary. You see here, you've just spoken about Højlund getting turned, Bruno making the run. Suddenly, someone's positive with a run, someone's positive with a pass, and they started to get bodies forward, didn't they?
I just want to sort of like pause this one here. This is a good clip here, because I think that's Xerxes there. I thought he could have eventually tried and make that run in the head.
Big space there, isn't it?
Corner of the box there, where once you get in there, defenders can't touch you. You're in control there. But I think he just stays in the box and end up... Obviously, they recycle it, but,
I even thought little ones like that. I mean, look at the run from Fernandes there. Those can... Yes, it's a tough pass.
Yeah.
But the benefits you get from trying that pass will far outweigh the possibilities of losing the ball.
Absolutely.
As it is, they actually get bodies in the penalty area. They're positive. They put the ball into the penalty area, nearly score a goal. Then you've got the winning goal. You're impressed with the way they play the ball and the run from Ahmad? I mean, he's made it already, which, you know, finally he made it when someone had time on the ball. Just let me highlight him for you at the top. It's a really good run.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing run. I think you look at the pass, the timing of the run, the connection, and obviously the finish at the end of it.
Yeah, just spotting that Guardiola, like he has done on numerous occasions now, just gets sucked into a player in there, draws himself out of a position, allows Diallo to make that run, bends it brilliantly. I mean, you know, he's played himself onside by about 10 yards there because he can't believe he's got that amount of space to run into.
It's an amazing, I mean, it's an amazing run. And what I enjoy about that goal, he doesn't just run in a straight line. You can see he sort of like changes his foot patterns but even here, some hamstrings. Look at that.
Did you think he was going to be able to get there? That's some speed, first off.
Because listen, you spoke about the run, the connection, but he's still got so much to do. You know, you've got to sort of like go past the goalkeeper, and you see the concentration here.
Look at his face. Yeah, talk us through touching this and finishing this.
It's amazing to see. You see the concentration here, just to focus. And all he's probably thinking now is, right, can I get it on target? That's all I need to do. I know where the goal is. It's an empty goal. Can I get it on target? And you know what? You know, for his hard work and, just sort of like all the runs that he made and, the last-minute goal there, it's amazing to see.
It's great when you get your rewards for persevering and not giving up on those runs. And there's a manager that's benefited from his runs that day and actually from what he's done.
On such small moments do perhaps whole seasons turn, whole careers turn, because they were just a few minutes short of defeat, weren't they?
Yeah.
Suddenly the narrative this Monday morning is completely different to what it would have been if the game had finished, after a sort of 86 minutes or whatever it was. So are we actually seeing progress under Amorim, or is this a result that covers up other things?
I'd say ask the question again at the end of the season, because I think this is going to be a little bit of an up and down roller coaster for Manchester United from now until the end of the season. He doesn't quite know his best 11. He's had issues off the pitch, obviously, with Marcus Rashford and then Garnacho as well. So he's got issues there that he needs to sort out. So there's going to be ups and downs. I thought yesterday's game was lacking in quality, huge quality, and that's incredible to say when you think Manchester City are involved in it. But United they're a poor team. They're not a great team. Let's not take anything away from the result, but they beat a team that is in massively low in confidence, who's struggling to find a style at the moment to get anything out of a game. They look leggy, they look lethargic, and United only just beat them. So let's not get carried away and say United are back. They're far from back. They'll face bigger obstacles this season and tougher obstacles, because they've got Manchester City at the lowest point, the lowest of the low. So, we could be sat here next week saying United have just lost again. That's how it could happen, because the way that they've been playing so far.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rashford and Garnacho not even included in the squad. Amorim said neither were left out injured. This was a hell of a gamble, wasn't it? Because now it looks great.
Yeah.
He's made a statement. He's gone, I'm not having people who don't tie their shoelaces properly or whatever it is in my squad. If they'd lost, then where would we be at?
Yeah, I suppose winning backs up his argument, and I quite like the way he sort of dealt with the situation, though, because he's made that choice. He's obviously come in and he's looking at different things, whether that's on the pitch, whether that's in training, whether that's the way that they handle themselves around, the training ground, the stadium, whatever that is, however he's made his decision, he's decided that they don't deserve to be in the squad for that game. He explained it. He then explained it again after the game, but he didn't say, oh, look, that's it for them. It's a new start next week. If they do what obviously I've wanted them to do more, they'll be in the matchday squad the week after. So I feel like he dealt with it pretty well. I quite like that he's setting standards and he's saying, well, if you don't meet my standards, whatever they are, I'm sure he's set it out to the players, you won't be in my squad no matter who you are. And I actually quite like that. And I think as players, you sort of respect that.
There's a fine line though, isn't there? And this is the thing, is that we've seen it with Erik ten Hag, where he tried to be tough and he tried to set standards, and the players didn't adhere to them and didn't.
Well, Jadon Sancho, this situation is much different from when he came out, when Ten Hag came out and said those things about Jadon Sancho, and that really hung around his neck for a long time. He also, there was the game at Wolves where Rashford was on the bench and came on and scored. Because he was late, and that was looked as a good one. But the Jadon Sancho one, I think, was looked at as not good man management when it's Ten Hag. Suddenly, when it's Amorim, because he got the win, it's seen as great management.
Exactly, and this is the issue you get, is that if they hadn't won yesterday, the talk would have all been around this. And now we're saying we're trying to put a positive spin on it. But you've got to put yourself in the changing room. As a Man United player, I'd be thinking, I want them two on the bench. Now, I know they've done wrong, but you can discipline them in other ways. You can fine them, you can do whatever you want. But when you're hurting the matchday squad and you're affecting it, now, we don't know to what level it was. He sort of came out, didn't he, and said, I watch what they eat, I watch how they dress and things like that. And you think, OK, but everyone's different in the way that they approach things. I remember reading an article that James Milner spoke about, and he spoke about Divock Origi, and he said he was the hardest player to manage, but at some point you've just got to go, he is who he is. Now, I'm not saying he's at the level of Marcus Rashford or whatever, but he was an important player for Liverpool. And he said he'd turn up late for meetings all the time. It was just his way. And sometimes you've got to accept a person for how they are. They might not change, but you've got to manage them in a different way. There's certain managers who look at certain players and go, he is different, he is a game winner, so maybe I've got to treat them a little bit different. His thing will just be, well, I don't treat anyone any different.
Yeah.
But when you're paying them 350 grand a week, 400 grand a week, however much they're on, you've got to find the best way of getting something out of them.
Yeah.
So there's a very fine balance of getting things right. And a lot of Man United fans are probably screaming at the telly now going, get him out the club. Like, we've had enough of him, about Rashford. But there's a player in there who's got exceptional talent as well. I'd rather him be in my team if I'm playing, thinking, try and get the best out of him. Find what makes him tick.
Yeah, I just don't think the performances have been good enough from them two either. So I think that's probably one of the reasons. Like, the performances on the pitch haven't been good. Yeah, but then he's probably looking at training, and have they actually shown him in training what he wants to see? So I think it's how you do, because I think as a player, if a manager comes to me and they say, you're not in the squad, and these are the reasons you're not in the squad, you go, OK, well, I'll make sure that I do that in training. I'll make sure that I do that on the pitch. So it's how they now respond to that, isn't it? That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Jamie Carragher has suggested Manchester United may struggle to sell Marcus Rashford because of his huge wages. Rashford was brutally cut from the squad by head coach Ruben Amorim on Sunday as United produced a brilliant 2-1 victory at Manchester City. He was left out of the squad for a number of reasons relating to training, attitude and his general behaviour at the club. Rashford earns £300,000 per week at Old Trafford plus a potential extra £75,000 in bonuses, making him one of United's highest paid players. Liverpool legend Carragher, who now works as a football pundit for Sky Sports, feels it could be a stumbling block if United wish to offload him. Quizzed about Amorim's decision to omit Rashford for the Manchester derby, Carragher said on Monday Night Football, I think in some ways, it feels a bigger decision than it actually is. I mean, is Marcus Rashford in the best 11? Really? How good is he? We're not talking about a world-class superstar here. I actually think we talk about Marcus Rashford too much, to be honest. He's a good player, not a great player. It is time for him to leave the club. Whether there will be any takers with the wages the lad is on, who knows? Rashford, 27, is currently under contract at United until the summer of 2028. I think a parting of ways is inevitable at some stage, Carragher added. For Manchester United and Marcus Rashford, the quicker that comes the better. Rashford has registered just 4 goals and 1 assist in 15 Premier League games so far this season. Last term, Rashford scored only 7 goals across 33 matches in the top flight. His form across the last 2 campaigns is a significant drop-off from the 2022-23 season, when he conjured up 17 goals and 5 assists in 35 Premier League games. According to The Guardian, the club is intent on a cultural reboot, aiming to raise standards that have seemingly declined since Sir Alex Ferguson's departure. Rashford, once seen as a cornerstone of the team, is now being made available for transfer in January if suitable suitors emerge. The decision to part ways with Rashford is part of a broader plan spearheaded by Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who aims to remove passengers from the squad in order to restore Manchester United to the upper echelons of both domestic and European football. The club's new ownership is keen on making a decisive shift in culture, starting with raising expectations for player professionalism, commitment, and overall team dynamics. Ratcliffe's intention is clear: he wants a squad full of players fully committed to the club's goals. This includes a focus on their behaviour off the pitch, with an emphasis on high standards in training, personal conduct, and how players interact with each other. The apparent decision to move on from Rashford comes as part of a wider effort to instill these values throughout the club. The timing of the report comes just after a remarkable 2-1 victory over Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium, a game in which Rashford, alongside young winger Alejandro Garnacho, was dropped from the squad. Following the win, manager Ruben Amorim addressed the decision in a post-match interview, clarifying that it wasn't due to any disciplinary issues. Amorim explained that both players were fighting for their places and that performance in training, professionalism, and team engagement were crucial factors in his decision-making process. While Garnacho still has a route back into the squad, the situation with Rashford seems more definitive. It is reported that Amorim believes Rashford's time at Manchester United is now over, with the club looking to move him on in January to help facilitate a broader cultural shift both within the football team and throughout the wider staff. Rashford's departure would mark the end of a significant era for the club, as the forward has been a key figure for United since his breakthrough under Ferguson. His form, however, has fluctuated in recent seasons, and despite flashes of brilliance, Rashford has struggled to consistently perform at the level expected of him. The 27-year-old has already been linked with several high-profile clubs, including Arsenal, Paris Saint-Germain, and Barcelona. However, a move away from Manchester United would be complicated, with Rashford's high wage demands likely to be a stumbling block for potential suitors.